ומפליא לעשות.
We turn now in our Siddurim and our prayer books to page 80, where you'll find our mantra of gratitude, our blessings for our daily miracles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lasek b'bina l'chavkein ben yom uvein laila,
who has given the mind the ability to distinguish day from night.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hokeach Ivrim,
who opens the eyes of the blind.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam
Matir Asurim,
who frees the captive.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Zokef Kefufim,
who lifts up the fallen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Roka haaretz al hamayim,
who stretches the earth over the waters.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hamechin mitzadei
who
gaver,
strengthens our steps.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Malbish
who
arumim,
clothes the naked.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Anoten le'aif koach,
who gives strength to the weary.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Hama'avir sheina me'enai Udnuma me'afapai,
Who removes sleep from the eyes, slumber from the eyelids.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam She'asani b'tzelem Elohim,
Who made me in the image of God.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam She'asani ben chorin,
Who has made me free.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam She'asani Yisrael,
Who has made me a Jew.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Ozer Yisrael
Who
b'gvura,
girds Israel with strength.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Oter Yisrael
Who
b'tifara,
crowns Israel with splendor.
Amen. We continue on page 86 with the blessing for Torah study, which will be led by Jenny Mercer, who is one of Jasper's teachers of Torah, and she will share a few words with him at this time.
You're grinning. That's so sweet. Sometimes kids are a little afraid of this part. Okay. I thought Buffy did a good job explaining how it is when you come to the temple. You and Ty run around like crazy, and then you settle down. You put your head to the whatever, grindstone, whatever that expression is, and you get to work. And I remember when you and Jonah first came, I was in on that. I don't know if you remember, but I taught you your letters. And here we are. It's so nice. So in that regard, you've been kind of an easy student because you just work hard, do what we tell you to do. But the piece of this that I am especially impressed by, there's a Jewish tradition that you have a study buddy for Torah, and you had Ty. And the two of you, after you were done being crazy, helped each other. You followed what he was supposed to do. You were encouraging, you were supportive. Two heads are better than one. That's why we do that. And I think, Jasper, anybody would be lucky to be able to call you as a friend, because that's what you're good at, among many, many other things. I'm very, very proud of you. Mazel.
Thank you.
All right, on page 86, the blessing for Torah. Baruch atah
Adonai,
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu la'asok b'divrei Torah.
And on page 88, these are things that are limitless, of which a person enjoys the fruit of the world, while the principle remains in the world to come. They are honoring one's father and mother, engaging in deeds of compassion, arriving early for study, morning and evening, dealing graciously with guests, visiting the sick, providing for the wedding couple, accompanying the dead for burial, being devoted in prayer, and making peace among people. But the study of Torah encompasses them all.
Indeed.
We rise on page 106.
Yitkada Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yalma divrach yiroteh v'yamlich malchuteh.
B'chayechon u'yomechon u'chayedecho Beit Yisrael. Bagala, bagala, ubizman kariv.
V'imeru.
Amen.
Yehi
Shmei Rabba mevorach, le'olam u'l'olmei almaya, yitbarach.
Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitalev v'yithalal Shemei dekudusha
Brihu.
le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata
Tushbechata v'nechemata, damiram be'alma.
v'imeru.
Amen.
Baruch et Adonai Hamavorah.
Baruch Adonai Hamavorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamavorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Yotzer or uvorei choshech, oseh shalom uvorei et hakol.
Hameir la'aretz v'ladarim aleha barachamim. Uvetuvo mechadesh b'chol yom tamid ma'aseh v'reishit. Ma rabu ma'asecha Adonai, kulam b'chochma asita. Mal'ah ha'aretz kinyanecha. Titbarach Adonai Eloheinu, al shebach ma'aseh yadecha. V'al me'orei or shasita, farucha sela. Or chadash al Zion ta'ir, v'nizkechu lanu mehera le'oro. Baruch atah Adonai,
Yotzer hame'orot.
on page 113. Jessica, Christopher, Liliana.
Once or twice in a lifetime, a man or woman may choose a radical leaving, having heard Lech Lecha, go forth.
God disturbs us toward our destiny by hard events and by freedom's now urgent voice, which explode and confirm who we are.
We don't like leaving, but God loves becoming.
Baruch atah Adonai, habocher ba'amo Yisrael, be'ahava.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
Page 116.
V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol lavavcha u'b'chol nafshecha
ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה, אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם להיות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. We continue on page 121.
Let us read responsibly.
The eternal truth is that you alone are God, and there is none else.
May the righteous of all nations rejoice in your love and exult in your justice.
Let them beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks.
Let nation not lift up sword against nation, nor learn war anymore.
You shall not hate your brother or your sister in your heart.
The stranger that sojourns with you shall be accepted as your equal, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt.
Why do you crush my people and oppress the poor, asks God.
We know that the Eternal One defends the poor and upholds the rights of the needy.
Praise to God Most High.
Blessed is God and deserving of blessing. Page 122, we join in the Song of the Sea, Mi Chamocha.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. יאי לי לי לי, 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 שירת חדשה שיפו גאולים לשמך על שפת הים יחד כולם הודו והמליכו Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. Yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai lai lai, yai lai 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 lai. Tzur Yisrael, kuma be'ezrat Yisrael, uvdei chenumecha, Yehuda be'Yisrael. Go aleinu, Adonai tzevaot shemo, Kedosh Yisrael. Baruch atah Adonai, Gal Yisrael.
Page 124.
Adonai sifatai tiftach
Ufi agite hilatecha.
Adonai, open up my lips
that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu, v'Eloheinu avotenu v'imotenu,
Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'Koneh Hakol, V'Zocher Hasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Geula Livnei V'neihem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayei Metim Atah Rab Lehoshia, Morid Hatal, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayei Metim Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afai, Micha Mocha Baal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lahachayot meitim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayei hametim. Mekadesh et shimcha ba'olam, V'shem shemakdishim oto b'shmei maro, V'katuv al yad nevi'echa, V'kara ze el ze ve'amar, Kadosh, 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 Adonai Tzevaot, Kol haaretz, Kevodo, Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonenu, Ma'adir, Shimcha bechol haaretz, Baruch Kevod Adonai Mimkomo. Echadu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu, Hu Malkeinu, Hu Moshienu, V'Hu Yashmienu, Berachamav le'enei kolcha. לנצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש, ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא יבוש לעולם ועד. ברוך אתה אדוני האל הקדוש.
With joy, we sing Yismachu, page 132. We sing about joy, with joy.
ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. מקדשי שביעי שבת כולם ישבעו ויתענגו מטובך השבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. והשביעי רצית בו וקידשת שבת. חמדת ימים אותו קראת שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. זכר למעשה בראשית שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. ישמחו במלכותך שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת.
We continue on page 135.
Where has this week vanished? Is it lost forever? Will I ever recover anything from it? The joy of life, the unexpected victory, the realized hope, the task accomplished. Will I ever be able to banish the memory of pain, the sting of defeat, the heaviness of boredom? On this day, let me keep for a while what must drift away. On this day, let me be free of the burdens that must return. On this day, Shabbat abide.
Help me to withdraw for a while from the flight of time. Contain the retreat of the hours and days from the grasp of frantic life. Let me learn to pause, if only for this day. Let me find peace on this day. Let me enter into a quiet world this day. On this day, Shabbat abide.
Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh HaShabbat. Page 137.
On this holy Shabbat, may we draw nearer to life, to peace, and to joy.
May we find true rest, holiness in our deeds, worth in our study of Torah.
Let us feed on the love of goodness. Let us drink from the love of goodness. Restrain our thirst for excess and cleanse our hearts to serve life well.
On this holy Shabbat, may we draw near in life, peace, and joy.
Baruch atah Adonai, she'otcha levadcha v'yirah na'avot. On page 139, we continue with a prayer of gratitude, responding each time with the words Modim anachnu lach, which mean we are grateful to you.
For the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations.
Modim anachnu lach.
For this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons.
Modim anachnu lach.
For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements.
Modim anachnu lach.
For human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression.
Modim anachnu lach.
For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, for understanding of views not shared.
Modim anachnu lach.
For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom.
Modim anachnu lach.
For human liberties and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose.
Modim anachnu lach.
We pray that we may live not by our fears, but by our hopes, not by our words, but by our deeds.
Baruch atah Adonai, hatov shimcha, ulachana el lehodot. We continue now with our prayer for peace on page 140.
Sim shalom. Shalom, tova uvracha. Sim shalom, tova uvracha. Sim shalom, tova Chesed, Chaim b'chesed v'rachamim. Chaim b'chesed, Chaim b'chesed v'rachamim, v'rachamim. Sim shalom. Sim shalom, tova uvracha. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace, and give us the will to proclaim its message, to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of our world. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Adonai, who blesses your people with peace.
Baruch atah Adonai, hamivarech et amo Yisrael, v'shalom. We share a few moments now in silence.
Ose shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Amen. Ose shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Amen. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Oh, say shalom bimroma, uyase shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru Amen.
At this time, we turn to Seder Kriyat HaTorah, the service for the reading of Torah, which you can find in your prayer books on page 248 and 49. I invite the congregation to please rise, and also for those passing Torah through the generations to join us on the bima.
We are gifts and we are blessings. We are history in song. We are hope and we are healing. We are learning to be strong. We are words and we are stories. We are pictures of the past. We are carriers of wisdom, not the first and not the last. Ledor vador nagid godlecha. Ledor vador, we protect this chain. From generation to generation. Ledor vador, these lips will praise your name. Looking back on the journey that we carried in our hearts, from the shadow of the mountain to the waters that would part. We are blessed and we are holy. We are children of your way. And the words that bring us meaning, we will have the strength to say. Ledor vador nagid godlecha. Ledor vador, we protect this chain. From generation to generation. Ledor vador, these lips will praise your name.
Jasper, I wanted to quote for you something from Pirkei Avot, which is a collection of sayings from our sages. And one of the rabbis said, I've learned a lot from all my teachers, and I've learned a lot from all of my friends, but I've learned the most from my students. And I wanted to point out that not only do you have one of the top 10 Divrei Torah of all of my time, so you are a great teacher, and you will be a great teacher to us in just a few moments of Torah. But something that stood out that I just kept on thinking about was that when I met with your parents and you wanted to run out of the room and not hear all the nice things that they had to say about you, one of the things that they said about you that just stuck with me, like really just crawled up right into my heart was, he's easy to love. He's easy to love. And I began to really think about that as a huge life lesson. That like I've always gone through my life thinking I'm supposed to be out there loving people. But what if the trick was to be easy to love? Isn't that a twist? And doesn't that in some way like just feels a little deeper and more beautiful to be that person who inspires in others just a feeling of loving. What a gift. So what I wanted to say to you, Jasper, is just keep being easy to love. And by your example, maybe we'll all be more beloved and lovable in our lives, and that's the way it's going to spread. Maybe that's what we've been doing wrong all this time. Maybe that's the thing that's going to make peace yet happen. So I am delighted to give the Torah to you, to pass it along the generations of your family who have conspired in all ways to help you reach this day, to support you, and who have been loving on you all this time. You deserve this Torah in your hands, and I hope that you will just shine it in all the ways that you can, most essentially by keeping being easy to love.
Ledor vador nagid godlecha. Ledor vador, we protect this chain. From generation to generation. Ledor vador, these lips will praise your name.
Mitzion,
Tetzei Torah, Ki Mitzion, Tetzei Torah, Udevar Adonai, Mirushalayim, Baruch Shenatan, Torah, Torah, Baruch Shenatan, Torah, Torah, Le'amo Yisrael, B'kedushato, Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadol Adonai iti, Uneromema Shemo Yachdav. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Kidshanu B'mitzvotav V'tzivanu La'asok b'divrei Torah La'asok b'divrei Torah. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on sweet words of Torah. Sweet as honey, sweet as honey, sweet as honey on our tongue. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehakodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehakodsho. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Ki kadosh Adonai Eloheinu romemu. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehakodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu ve'ishtachavu lehakodsho.
My Torah portion for this week is Bechukotai from the book of Leviticus. It is about God's covenant with the people of Israel and the blessings and curses for obeying or violating its terms. For example, if we follow God's mitzvot, God's commandments, then we will be blessed with good fortune and plentiful harvests. We will triumph over our enemies and will not be troubled by evil beasts. But if we don't follow God's mitzvot or commandments, then we will be punished by God with fever and illness and all manners of troubles. Our enemies will decimate us and our armies, and our harvests will fail. I assure you, there are a lot more punishments listed in this Torah portion than I can even mention here. If we survive the punishments and become remorseful for our actions, then God will remember his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and remember that we are his people, and we can become whole again. My Torah portion examines the ideas of rules and consequences for observing the mitzvot, the obligation that God gave the Jewish people. We could ask, why do we need rules? Well, rules show us how to live, and without them, there would be chaos. They keep order in the world and help us make the world better. They are a deterrent for doing wrong and can also be a reward for doing the right thing. There are imposed rules, and also there are rules we choose to live by, and both can help us go in the right direction while still choosing our own path. We could also ask, do consequences help people obey the rules? It seems that knowing the consequences of our actions often can help people not break the rules. This is well shown by the fact that there are only 10 verses explaining the rewards for doing good and 28 verses on what happens if you break the rules. The Torah clearly emphasizes the negative consequences rather than the positive rewards. Why is this? Perhaps there are some answers in human psychology. It may work better to threaten something terrible rather than to offer a reward. Maybe because some people don't like gifts or whatever the reward may be, but punishment is universally hated. The curses are quite terrible, things we would want to avoid to protect the health, safety, and prosperity of our families and communities. The curses were very harsh, and maybe that was because people would do nothing when faced with minor consequences, so God had to make people really fear the consequences. In my own life, I've noticed that schools are often faced with this dilemma of kids not caring about consequences, and the schools can't change the punishments to make them more effective at helping students choose to do the right thing. So, what if you do something bad? Can people change their ways? The Torah gives us an opportunity to change our ways and atone for our sins. While blessings are given all at once, the curses are actually laid out in stages. This makes it so that once one has learned their lesson, they have room to change their ways and become good. So now we can ask, how does one change their ways? Does doing the mitzvot that God has commanded us make us better people? Are you rewarded by the way you feel when you do a mitzvah? My mitzvah project is helping out kindergarten and first graders and looking after them every Thursday. I really love helping people and also love kids. They are always super fun and energetic and a joy to hang out with. It makes me feel good helping them, and I feel that that's a blessing in itself. It is even like a double mitzvah or blessing because I help and make them feel good, and then I get to feel good also in the process. Performing mitzvot is a way of life whose aim is to make us better people. Sometimes doing a mitzvah is a reward in of itself because of how we feel and make others feel. What makes a good person good or bad is not only their actions, but how they and others view themselves. If I can show up as a Jewish person in the world performing mitzvot, then that reflects well on me, on the Jewish belief system, and on all Jewish people. So what about today? Does the system of curses for disobeying the commandments work now? Climate change is a great example of the failure of people to change, even when the consequences are so dire. What is frightening to me is that people who are older don't feel as threatened by the negative consequences of climate change, because they may not be alive long enough to experience them. But I do feel threatened. Oil and natural gas producers are making bank on their fossil fuel profits, and if they switch to a more sustainable energy source, they wouldn't be immediately making as much money. It could be said that their greed is ruining the world. The reason for this could again go back to human psychology. If humans don't acutely comprehend future events and consequences, they don't do anything to change their bad behavior because the consequences are too far off. The rules in the Torah, it is interesting that in the Torah there are rules to help us protect the land. These rules were from when we were an agricultural society. Being in harmony with the land was important for survival. The covenant between God and people is about taking care of the earth and all of its creatures. The rules in the Torah are not as literally translated as they were in the past, because those rules are for a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. I think you could still interpret them, but with a more modern approach. You can help pick up trash that is polluting the earth. You can help by donating funds that go to make less of a fossil fuel dependence. You can live a greener, more sustainable life. There are so many things we can do in so many ways to avert the negative consequences of climate change. Even though most people aren't farmers with a large personal investment in the land, we can still protect the earth and not harm it. It is the only way to save humanity from the terrible consequences. So another really tricky question for today is, why are bad people prosperous? Does God really decide who gets the blessings and who gets the curses? There are lots of people who have seemingly done nothing wrong, and bad things still happen to them. It really is a big question. Why do bad things happen to good people? That I don't think I can fully answer today, but I can try. Maybe we suffer or prosper as a collective, people of a community, a nation, the planet, and that it is not each person getting doled out punishment or blessings for his or her action. But that still raises the question, why do whole communities suffer? Surely there are many times in history when the Jewish people and many other cultural groups suffered as a whole, including many, many innocents. Were the terrible consequences they faced really a result of not following the rules? I do not believe so. Maybe we can take away that it is important to help each other and solve the problems as a group, instead of naming someone's misfortune as being their fault. Maybe this extends globally now, as we can see people suffering everywhere. Maybe these rules were meant to encourage us to strive to be good, to help each other, to put positivity into the world, even though we are not perfect. My conclusion from all these questions is, I think that it really does matter what we do and how we live our lives. Every action has an effect that can be good or bad. We all live and learn, and that not everything is black and white. It's not always easy, and if it's not, in a way you can see you are rewarded for your mitzvah. The positive energy you put out comes back around, and as I said before, being a good person makes you feel good. It's our choice what we do, and we all have the power to make the world a better or worse place. Let us choose wisely.
See what I'm talking about, people? I should have let him give that last night, too. We could hear that one again. It had all the things. Even my sermon didn't have all the things. If you would like to follow along with Jasper as he reads from the Torah scroll, you can find the words that he's going to chant in the red Eitz Chaim commentaries in front of you. He will be beginning at the beginning of this week's Torah portion, Leviticus 26, verse 3, which is on page 747. And it is an honor to invite for an Aliyah to Torah his grandmother Judith and his aunt Sari. Ta'amdu Yehudi Dina bat Yoel Yitzchak Basarafega V'Shulamit Leah bat Yaakov Nisim V'Yehudi Dina La'aliyah la Torah.
Baruch Hu Adonai Hamborach.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamborach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Amen. Im bechukotai telechu, v'et mitzvotai tishmeru, va'asitem otam, v'natati yishmechem be'itam, v'natenach ha'aretz yivula, v'etz hasadeh yitain piryam, v'hisig lachem daish et batsir, uvatsir yasig et zara, ve'acholtem lachmechem la shova, usavtem la veta, ve'artzechem.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tokeinu. Baruch atah Adonai, noten haTorah. Amen.
As he continues to read, it is an honor to invite for an aliyah and to surround him as he reads from Torah, his parents and brother, Jackie, Jason, and Jonah Childs. Ya'amdu Yudit Malka bat Yaakov Nisim v'Yehudit Dina v'Yona Melech ben Yudit Malka la'aliyah la Torah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Amen. V'natati shalom ba'aretz, ushachavtem v'ein macharin, v'hishbati chaya ra'a min ha'aretz, v'cherev lo ta'avor v'artechem, uv'nitem et oivechem, v'nafalu lifnechem lecharem. Ufani v'atayu mikem hamisha me'a, ume'a mikem revava irdofu, v'nafalu oivechem lifnechem lecharem. Ufaniti alechem v'hifreti etem, v'hirveti etem, v'hakimoti et bariti itchem.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
El malei rachamim, shochem bamromim, hamatzei menucha nachona, tachat kanfei hashchina, b'malot kedoshim u'tehorim kezohar harakia, mazhirim, et nishmat Yaakov Nisim ben Nisim Beleah, shehalach le'olamo began Eden tehem menuchato. Ana bal harachamim, hastirehu b'seter knafecha le'olamim, utzror b'tzror chaim et nishmato, Adonai hu nachlato. וינוח בשלום על משכבו, ונאמר אמן. And now it is an honor to invite our bar mitzvah to Torah, Jasper Sawyer Childs. Ya'amod bachor habar mitzvah, Yaakov Shalom ben Yudit Malka, la'aliyah la Torah.
Baruch hu et Adonai Hamvarach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen.
Ve'achaltem yashan noshan vayashan mipnei chadash totzi'u v'natati mishkani betochachem ve'lo tigal nafshi etchem ve'hitalafti betochachem ve'hayiti lecham lelochim Ve'atem tiyuli le'am. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Asher hotzeiti etem me'eretz Mitzrayim miyot lachem avadim. Va'eshbor motot ulchem.
Ve'olech etchem kol hamiut.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu Torat emet, v'haya olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Amen. Mi sheberach avotenu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachav Leah. Hu yivarech et Yaakov Shalom ben Yudit Malka shehigia lemitzvot ve'ala lichvod hamakom ve'lichvod haTorah ve'lichvod haShabbat. HaKadosh Baruch Hu yishmerehu v'yichayehu v'yichonen et libo lihiyot shalim im Adonai Elohav lalech Lahago b'Torato lalecha b'drachav v'lishmor mitzvotav vayishlach bracha v'hatzlacha b'chol ma'aseh yadav yizku horav legadlo leTorah u'lechupa u'lema'asim tovim vayimtzachem v'techato b'nei Elohim v'adam v'nomar Amen. May God, who blessed all of our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless Jasper, who has come for an aliyah upon reaching the age of mitzvot with reverence for God and respect for Torah and Shabbat. May the Holy One of blessing protect and sustain Jasper, helping him to continue to be wholehearted in his faith, to study Torah, to fulfill mitzvot because it makes him feel good, and to walk in God's ways because it makes other people feel good. May his parents continue to rear him to maturity, guiding Jasper to the blessings of Torah, escorting him to the marriage canopy should he so choose, and filling his life with ma'asim tovim, acts of loving kindness. May he continue to find favor before God and our community, as we all say together, Amen.
Amen.
Also, in the sacred presence of the Torah, we offer blessings of healing for anyone who is in need. And if you would like to share a name aloud as our gazes meet, I invite you to do so that we might pray for them. And we will send our blessings of healing to those we may not know, all of those who are broken in mind, body, and spirit. Mishaberach Avotenu Abraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel Leah Hu Yivarech v'Yirapeh et Kol HaCholim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Alehem Lahachazikam L'Rabotam V'Yishlach Lahem Mehera Refuah Shleiman Min HaShamayim Refuat HaNefesh Refuat HaGuf B'toch Sha'ar Cholei Yisrael Hashta B'Agala V'Zman Kariv V'Nomar Amen. May God, who blessed all of our ancestors, bring blessings of healing to those we have kept in our hearts today. May the Holy One of blessing mercifully restore them to health and vigor. May God grant them physical and spiritual well-being together with all others who struggle. And let us say, Amen. Amen. Please rise.
Ezot HaTorah asher sam Moshe lifnei bnei Yisrael al pi Adonai beyad Moshe. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz. Yehiram hayam, Yehiram hayam, Yehiram hayam umelo, Yehiram hayam, Yehiram hayam, Yehiram hayam umelo. Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim, Yismechu hashamayim v'tagel haaretz.
The prophetic selection that is chosen to pair with this week's Torah portion comes from chapters in Jeremiah, specifically chapter 17, and Jasper will be reading verses 8 through 10, and you can find that on page 764.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'nvi'im tovim v'ratzah v'divrechem hane'emarim ba'emet. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'nvi'ei ha'emet v'tzedek. V'haya ki eretz shatu al mayim v'al yuval yeshalach shorasha v'lo yir'eh ki yavo cho v'haya alechu ra'anan uvishnat batzoret lo yid'ag v'lo yamis me'asot peri akov halev mikol v'anush hu mi yeda'enu ani Adonai hoker lev bochen kulotot v'lateit lisha kidracha ki free ma'alala. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam tzur kol haolamim tzadik b'chol hadorot ha'el hane'eman ha'omer v'oseh ha'medaber u'makayim shekol devara emet v'tzedek, al ha-Torah, ve'al ha'avodah, ve'al ha'nevi'im, ve'al yom ha'shabbat hazeh, shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu, likdusha v'limnucha, v'lechavod u'lotif'aret, al hakol Adonai Eloheinu, anachnu modim lach, u'mevartim otach, yitbarach shimcha, b'fi chochai, tamid le'olam va'ed, Baruch ata Adonai, mekadesh ha-Shabbat.
Amen.
We turn in our prayer books and our Sidurim to page 256 as we rise to return the Torah to the ark.
Eitz chaim hi, ha'machazikim ba, v'tomchecha, me'ushar terachea, dachei noam, v'chol netivotecha, Shalom, Hashivenu Adonai, Elecha benashuva, Kadesh Yameinu, Kekedem.
Hi. Jasper Sawyer Childs, Yaakov Shalom. But have you heard that he has a few nicknames? So now if you know our family, you know that we have this irritating thing for nicknames. We have a lot of them. We give a lot of them. We use them pathologically. But for Jasper, his nicknames has taken on sort of astronomical proportions. And I actually started keeping track of them a while ago because I thought it was sort of ridiculous. So I'm going to name a few of them, and this is literally like 20% of the list. So, you know, we start with Jazz, Jazzy, Jazzmania, Jazzmataz, Mataz, Tazzy, Zazzle, Sawyer, Soybean, Soy, Shubby, Schmooky, Chooky, Chukles, Pookie, Jazzabiji, Jazzolini, Jasperini, Tazarini, and the list just goes on and on. And of course, Jonah, I do not believe actually knows Jasper's real name because for as long as we can remember, he's called him, anybody know? Taz, which is short for Taz Tazilius Tazilifer, apparently. So why the nicknames? And now you're going to hear a sort of a repeat from before. But why the nicknames? Nicknames are a sign of affection. They're used to show closeness, the sense that you know and love someone. Nicknames can also show belonging, someone who's part of a group, a member, crew, for those of you evergreeners. Jasper, you have these nicknames because, as Rabbi said, you are so easy to love, so in tune with those around you, so dedicated to the communities that you inhabit. You are an amazingly empathetic person who reaches out to people when they are in need. When you see a concerned expression on someone's face, you reach out to them with touch, with your expression. You love helping the kids at school. You're always the one to jump in to help a family member. Like it's kind of a joke. Like we know Jasper's there. Who can help? Jasper. You're an awesome student ambassador at school. You reach out to people you don't even know there. You have a natural ability to see what is needed in an interpersonal situation. You're like the glue that holds us all together. A peacemaker, a fun friend, and to be honest, you're the sunshine that we all need in life. You lift us up with your smile, your humor, your intelligence, and your unconditional love. Jasper, you've done an amazing job preparing for this day. Just like always, you have approached this challenge with grit, perseverance, independence, thoughtfulness, timeliness, seriousness, and humor. As always, you are someone to be counted on. You juggled school, Mitzvah project, ultimate frisbee, practicing bass guitar on your own, practicing with the band, and Torah practice beautifully. We are so proud of you, Jasper. We know that your kindness, intelligence, and sweet and hilarious spirit will take you wherever you want to go. We adore you. Taz, Tazilius, Tazilifer.
Love you, Jasper. Keep using your powers for good. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha.
May God bless you, watch over you, guide you, and keep you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichunecha.
May the light of God's presence shine upon you and through you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
And may God seriously smile upon you and grant you peace. Amen. Mazel tov. We remain standing as we turn to page 282 as we conclude our service with Alinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'Adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא, יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We think now of all of our loved ones who have departed, those whom death has recently taken from us. From our congregational families, we think of Shimon Ulrich Godchok, Jean Schimmel, and Rita Vivian Silverman. As well, we recall all of those who died at the season in years past. Harry Bernstein, Alice Butchers, Rita Friedenberg, Marjorie Joseph, Ida Kahn, Sidney Krakowitz, Bernard Proctor, Ed Chick Rosenberg, Sidney Marcus Shockett, Mary Jean F. Simon, Ralph D. Simon, Bernard Sloan, Vivian Sloan, and Daniel Benjamin Warner. And from Jasper's extended family, we think of Jacques Pessah, Lee and Victor Pessah, Faye and Joel Schaefer, Ruth and John Bolin, and Zach Childs. Zichronam livracha, may all of their lives be for a blessing and their memories be for blessing, as together we rise as one single congregational family to recite the Mourner's Kaddish, which thanks God for the gifts of life and memory. Page 294. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, ve'alma divrach chirutei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chaye chon v'yom echon, u'b'chaye dechol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi shmei rabba v'barach le'olam olamei maya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shmei dekudesha brichu le'elamin kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shamaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru amen.
Ve'imru, 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 amen. Ve'imru, 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 amen.
It means so much to me having this bar mitzvah. It is a huge accomplishment and a giant step in my Jewish identity. I've loved the whole journey, and I think it's going to be a huge stepping stone into both my Jewish and secular future. The whole thing has helped me develop my Jewish identity in my own unique way and helped me understand how to live my Jewish life. I've learned the importance of mitzvot and for how performing them makes me feel, and how we can all make a difference every day in ways large and small. And now, there are many people I would like to thank for getting me all the way to this place. I would like to thank my bar mitzvah teacher, Jenny, for all the fun times and amazing knowledge she shared with us. I would also like to thank my friend Ty for being with me through the whole thing. I want to thank my mom for helping me through all the ups and downs of life and having a bar mitzvah. I want to thank my dad for always having fun and pushing through problems with me. I want to thank my brother Jonah for being annoying, yet loving, and always pushing me to practice. I want to thank my Mimi and Papa for everything they have taught me with love and kindness. I want to thank my Grammy and Auntie for always being there and helping me learn and grow. I also want to thank all my Hebrew school teachers for teaching me to read Hebrew and learn all the prayers. I want to thank all of my teachers, past and present, for always helping me learn and discover new things on my constant search for knowledge. I want to thank all my friends for being there to support me and to just have some fun. I want to thank Seth Kellum and Sarah Kim for sharing their music with our temple. I want to thank Emery for helping me with my mitzvah project when it became a handful. I want to thank Rabbi Meiri for bringing us all together and leading us through this time and helping to make this bar mitzvah possible. Finally, I want to thank everyone here for coming from near and far, and to those turning in to watch. Thank you for your support. Toda Rabbah and Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Please rise for our last song, as chosen by Taz.
Man, I like it.
Hands. It's got hands.
I like hands.
Yeah, 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 yeah. 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 We all got a life to live. We all got a gift to give. Just open up your heart and let it out. We all got a piece to bring. We all got a song to sing. Just open up your heart and let it out. Yeah, when I reach out to you and you to me, we become B'Tselem Elohim.
This is where you embrace people next to you.
When we share our hopes and our dreams, each one of us B'Tselem Elohim. We all got a tale to tell. We all want to speak it well. Just open up your heart and let it out. We all got a mountain to climb. We all got a truth to find. Just open up your heart, let it out. Yeah, when I reach out to you and you to me, we become B'Tselem Elohim. When we share our hopes and our dreams, each one of us B'Tselem Elohim. Breshit bara Elohim. Breshit bara Elohim. Breshit bara Elohim. All our hopes and all our dreams. Breshit bara Elohim, each one of us, B'Tselem Elohim, Breshit bara Elohim, all our hopes, all our dreams, Breshit bara Elohim, each one of us, B'Tselem Elohim. Yeah, when I reach out to you, B'Tselem Elohim, we become B'Tselem Elohim. Yeah, 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 yeah.
When we share our hopes and our dreams.
B'Tselem Elohim.
B'Tselem Elohim.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Each one of us, B'Tselem Elohim. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Each one of us, B'Tselem Elohim.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Please join us in Dave Hall.